Okay, this is where we're going to be doing long division with polynomials. So the first thing is you set it up as a long division part, and I wrote it out here. This is just an example that I'm going to show you first off to get in sequence. We have the 2x3. Notice it's got 3, 2, 1, and then 0 for the x's on that. It's got to be in order, otherwise this won't work. So now we're looking at how many times will x go into 2x3? That would be, you need a 2, and you need x squared. So now take this and multiply it by both of those. So you have 2x3 plus, sorry with the plus there, and 2 times that is 4x squared. Once you got that, now just like normal things, we're going to subtract it. So you got to subtract this one and subtract that one. This cancels out, and you have a negative 1x squared minus 4x squared is minus 5x squared. Bring down the next digit. And now we're looking at how many times will x go into a negative 5x squared. That would be negative 5 times. So multiply that, you get, we need the 5, we also need another x, so we got to put another x there. So negative 5x times x would be a negative 5x squared. Negative 5x times 2 is a negative 10x. Bringing that down. Okay, these two you'd have to subtract, so this one changes to plus, this changes to plus. That cancels out. Negative 7x and a positive 10x is a positive 3x. Doing again, how many times will x go into 3x? Positive 3 times. So 3 times x is 3x. Oh, I forgot to bring down my other digit. And 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract those off. And they both cancel and we get 0. So that is our final part on that one. So what we're looking for is to see whether or not this is a factor of this one here. Sometimes it'll go in evenly and it'll end with 0. Sometimes you might have a remainder. So looking at this example, it is a really long one. So I'll let you find that on your paper. And so let me not have it plugged in. So we do have to plug in the camera if I'm going to do this correctly. Alright. So if you've got all that, I need to move down everything down over to here so I can plug in the power. Alright. Okay, I think I'm ready on this one now. Let me bring this up a little bit. Okay, so now in this case, we want to find out whether or not the 8x can go into each one of those. So 8x can go into 32. We know that is going to be 4 times, and we need 3 x's. So now multiply that, you get 32x to the 4th. Those cancel out, bring down the next term. Now 8x goes into 104x. So go through and do some dividing. 8 will go into 104 13 times, so we need 13 of them. We do need the negative. And we had 1x, we need 3, so this would be x squared. Multiply that, that's 104x3. Those cancel out, bring down the next term. How many times will 8 go into 56? That is 7 times. And we already had 1x, we need 2, so we need an x. So that'd be plus. So we have a 56x squared. Those cancel out, bring down the next term was plus 11x. 8x goes into 11x only 1 time. That'd be 8x. And when you subtract that, becomes 3x. Bring down the next term plus 4. Here we've gotten all the way down. 8x cannot go into 3x, so here is the remainder. So then up here you'd put remainder 3x plus 4 divided by 8x. So that was the first example there. Okay. Long division is, of course, you know, when it says it is long. So we have this one. So first off, you have x plus 4 is going to go into that big long thing. But we just do part at a time. So how many times will this x go into x to the 4th? You would need 3 of them. So we have x to the 4th. Now in this case, you got to multiply it to this one and to that one. So x3 times that is x4. x3 times 4 is 4x3. You have to subtract them off, so this changes to subtract, this changes to subtract. That cancels out. Positive 2 and a negative 4 is a negative 2x to the 3rd. Bring down the next term. And we have it up to there. Now we're looking at how many times will this x go into a negative 2x3? Well, you'll need negative 2, and we also need another x. Actually 2 of them because we have 1. So negative 2x squared times x is negative 2x3. Negative 2x squared times 4 is a negative 8x squared. You're subtracting them off, so when you subtract, that means this changes to plus, this one changes to plus. Negative 2 and a positive 2, that cancels out. Negative 13 and a positive 8 is a negative 5x squared. Bring down the next term. Starting again. X goes into a negative 5x squared, negative 5x times. Now take that and multiply. So we have negative 5x squared. Negative 5x times 4 is negative 20x. Got to subtract them, so this changes to plus, this changes to plus. That cancels out. Negative 38 and a positive 20 is a negative 18x. Bring down the next term. Almost done because that's the last one coming down. So how many times will x go into a negative 18x? Negative 18 times. Negative 18 times that is negative 18x. Negative 18 times 4. Calculator, someone? Would be a negative 72. You got to change both of them because you got to subtract a negative, changes to plus, subtract a negative, changes to plus. That cancels out. And what is a positive 72 minus 24? Would be a positive 48. There's the remainder. So then up here you can put plus 48 over x plus 4. Okay, everybody take a breather on that one. And we will go to the next one here. Okay, we want to find out on this one. If I gave you this here and say, is x plus 6 a factor of this large polynomial? The thing that you'd have to look for is when you get dividing down, if you have a remainder, it's not going to be a factor. If you don't have a remainder, in other words, it ends in 0, then it will be a factor. So looking at this one, x going into 4x3, you need a 4, you need an x and a squared. So now that times that is 4x3. That times the 6 is 24x squared. Subtract that one, subtract that one. That cancels out. 35 minus 24 is 11. Bring down the next term. So how many times will x go into 11x squared? Of course it's going to be 11, and we still need another x. So 11x squared plus 6 times 11 is 66 with the x. That subtracts. 73 minus 66 is 7x. Bring down the plus 150. Now we're looking at x going into 7x, so that would be plus 7. So 7x plus 6 times 4 is 42. You have to subtract that. Got to subtract that. You get 108. We have a remainder. So is x plus 6 a factor of this polynomial? No, because it has a remainder. Okay. Now I want to show you one that has a volume. And this is on the back of the sheet that I gave you for the practice. And that's all the things that, all our information. So once you put it in the right places, because volume is length times width times height, and that's the length, that's the width, and that's the height. Surface area, there's two ways to find that one. It's length times width. In other words, you're finding this side and the back side. That's why there's two. The left and the right, and the top and the bottom. So that equation is written like that. So I put in all the things for you. So here's the length and the width. This is the length, or the width and the height, and the length and the height. We just need to find out what is each part of those, because we're adding those together. So first off, you have to FOIL that one. So we have x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 10. Over here we've got x squared minus x, because we're still adding those. And this is x squared plus 10x. So all of those are in the bracket. Okay, going through and finding out all of that part. What is, how many x squareds do you got? Well, there's one, and there's one. So we have 3 x squareds. Okay, just plain x's, x, 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 and x. So we've got 10 and 10, which is 20. Minus 1 and minus 1 means 18. So we have 18 x's. And then here we have a negative 10. Looks like that's the only number, so minus 10. That's everything in the brackets. So that's all the face value ones, but I put it so the equation is, so now you have to times it by 2. So we have 6x squared plus 36x minus 20. So this is the surface area, and the volume then would be this part. We can put these together, and that would be x squared minus x. Multiply it to this one, x plus 10. And FOIL that. X times x squared is x to the 3. That is minus x squared. 10 times that is plus 10x squared. And 10 times negative 1 is negative 10x. These go together. So we have x to the 3 plus 9x squared minus 10x. And it wants to know the ratio of the volume to the surface area. So volume is on the top, so we'd write the x3 plus 9x squared minus 10x. And this is the surface area, 6x squared plus 36x minus 20. If we want to go another step forward, we can factor them and see if there's anything canceled, but I already know that this one doesn't, so this is our final answer. You will have one of those to do for today's assignment, and you'll have some of the other ones too. So all I'm going to do is just for today's assignment, you're going to just do the A through, I think it is E. So you're going to do that one, and that's on the second worksheet. So refer to these if you need to. That'll be today's homework, and then tomorrow you'll do the 1 through 30. So if you want to, you can get started on that, but you'll be doing that tomorrow in class then. And I am sorry, I will be gone tomorrow, but you'll have this available for looking back at if you need to. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.